nightly stroll, and I was listening for about the eighth time to the artwork episode of the Lost Art of Conversation, because I just love
Yes.
to hear Pope Hal talk about Storm Thurgeson. And it ran out, so I was just looking around for other things I had downloaded onto my phone, and lo and behold, I had Mike Lord of the Genesis Tabletop actually did a little solo episode on three shows that he saw, two Steve Hackett shows and a Phil Collins show. And I thought it was interesting how he sort of addressed, Phil's current state, and it is what it is. And apparently Phil was trolling for months this idea of Genesis getting back together.
Really?
Yeah. And I guess this episode I think was recorded sometime in January, and Mike, Phil, and Tony were seen at a basketball game together. So I want to say part of the thing that came out was the fact that they had been in the U.S. rehearsing.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Yes. Well, it seems like a lot of people were doing some behind-the-scenes work with the Genesis business. Buddy Dave Kerzner was right on the posting. Kenny G in the house.
He was all over that. I saw
that. Oh, he did a wonderful private chat. He is such a funny dude.
Yeah, yeah.
So Kerzner was doing one of his usual Facebook live streams just out of his phone. And oh wait, am I muted?
Nope, you're good.
No, we hear you.
Yeah. He was actually in the Florida IK Multimedia office, and he wanted to talk about Cruise to the Edge and whatnot, and he's like, yeah, no matter what virus goes around, a lot of people are contractually obligated to perform and attend and whatnot. So that's kind of a given that a lot of folks are just going to be there no matter what, as long as the cruise is happening. And there's a pre-party, so I imagine, even if the cruise were canceled, the pre-party is just going to be huge. But he went into a little bit about what you said about Genesis, and specifically, Tony likes what he likes. He doesn't change his sounds much.
Does he know what he likes?
In his wardrobe, and and he never liked the Mellotron choir, which is one of the sounds that Dave loves that he recreated. I mean, I guess he created other sounds too, based on Tony's cue, but that was just one Dave was really hoping to get. Sounds like Tony won't use that particular sound.
Interesting. Ken, fresh off the Dweezil Zappa show. How was the show?
Oh, do we need to do an episode on Dweezil Zappa?
I don't know if we do, but I'm recording the Palaver pre-show.
Oh yes, I see that you are now.
Yeah. It's my new thing. My new thing. I want to record the pre-show banter and then release that on YouTube.
Okay.
As a tease.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay.
No pressure. It's supposed to be off the cuff and sort of the behind the scenes view of what's going on at Progressive Palaver on a Tuesday night.
Then I won't talk about my horrible gas for my vegetarian pizza, dude.
Did you have horrible gas at the Dweezil Zappa show?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, dude. I took a lot of herbal tea. I'm regular, dude.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes regular is gassy,
He's like extreme.
I had ridiculous gas today. I was talking to Dave DeWitt, and I snuck into one of our little phone rooms, and it was one of the rooms that you can actually reserve. And so I'm talking to him on the phone, and I am just destroying the room. And and somebody walks up and looks into the window to see like who's in there, and I'm like, oh shit, someone's got this room booked, and I'm gonna have to walk out. And as they walk in, they're gonna be like, oh, that's okay, you stay here. Luckily, they walked right away though.
Oh, that's too rich. Too rich.
So I'm talking to Dave DeWitt, and I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this. I told him we're talking about doing some recording, and I mentioned to him that I might have to buy Paul Lanahan a China Boy, because that is missing from his set, and I think it might need it in the upcoming songs that we're working on. And Dave DeWitt goes, oh, he was like, why can't I think of what the China Boy looks like or what it sounds like? What would be an example? What would be an example of that you would choose to say, go listen to this. This is the China Boy.
Rush.
Which Rush? Yes.
Oh shit. Was it Grace Under Pressure when he started going heavy China Boy, or
I
before
don't know.
that?
I don't know. But what would your reaction be? Like what song would you be like? You know what? It's this song because I went right to Rush as well. I gave him two examples. One was
Um,
go ahead.
I
Oh
don't
yeah,
think
go
it's
ahead.
Power. I don't think it's Power Windows. Was he heavy China Boy in Power Windows?
That was that one of my examples came from Power Windows. Yeah.
Oh really? Okay, okay. He was doing it by then. Okay.
Oh yeah. The one
Okay.
example was Mystic Rhythms, the beginning beat.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to. My brain couldn't get there, but
And then I told him to whip out Hemispheres and put on the song Circumstances, because in the music bridge right before the second verse, it's like probably some of the tastiest China Boy of all time. Which I think
Ooh.
I think we may have highlighted at in our episode. I don't know.
Okay. Wow. I just
And
love that.
and the other thing is progressive palaver. No matter just by our nature of the way we're set up, we are not impacted by the coronavirus whatsoever
because we're already remote.
because we are already quarantined when we do progressive palaver.
Okay.
We are
I
indeed.
mean, I might still touch Joe's face. So.
All right, now it's getting a little crazy for the pregame.
It's a little adult here. We've
Uh-oh.
gone
Ken,
too
so
I gotta take a call.
oh,
Oh,
is Ken
boy.
on call tonight?
I don't know. He's a very busy man.
Yes. Hello.
Well, he is very busy. I mean, it's pretty unusual to be taking calls during the palaver, just based on the hour.
Just based on the hour.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No.
So out of nowhere this week, I decided just out of the blue, I was like just cruising through Spotify,
Yeah.
and
I did my best to name
and I wanted to listen to something, and I popped on Chris Cornell's one of his later records, Higher Truth. Do you ever hear that record, Joe?
I did not.
Oh my goodness.
I'm surprised to hear this because Chris Cornell has always been one that has kind of bored me to death.
Oh, this album is it's special. The production is fantastic on it, and by that I mean it almost seemed like, Chris Cornell showed up in the studio one weekend and just basically stood in front of a mic and played guitar and sang, and then they went back and then they turned them into songs.
Wow.
And the highlight for me is track 3, which is Worried Mood, but oh my goodness, check it out if you haven't listened to it too much.
I have not.
Yeah, so it's kind of been distracting me this week a bit, which has been fun. What were you listening to? I'm sorry, I had to mute Ken because he was.
The Wall.
Oh, sure.
It's a little bit ahead of where we are, but
It's ridiculous how good that record sounds, isn't it? When you listen to it after listening to what we're listening to right now.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we'll have to wait till we get into it, but I still absolutely love this record. I think it's phenomenal, with one exception, obviously.
Yes, for sure. The song we can't escape from. But it's funny that one day you texted us about, asking us about what we thought about the trial.
Yeah.
Because I've just always loved that, and there's days that I'll just like, for whatever reason, I'll just like be in the shower and I'll just start like singing, "You little shit, you're in it now." Like I just like, it just like often just like comes at me and just knocks me over. And what's funny is that I always thought it was so odd that it was so orchestrated,
Mhm.
and so like orchestrated in such a flamboyant manner. And just another way of saying that it's all orchestrated. There's no real, rock band instruments in it. But after we've done all this listening to these early stages, it seems to fit right in. All right, I've muted Ken, and now I don't seem to have the power to unmute him.
Uh-oh. I think he muted himself.
I muted him. I definitely
Right.
muted him.
But he may have muted himself after the fact.
You think so? Okay.
I do.
Skype for Dummies.
So you were saying why it's no surprise that it's so orchestrated?
Yeah, so after listening to like Adam Hart Mother and some of these other larger pieces with all of the stringed instrumentations and orchestral things, it's not a stretch at all. Certainly not what I had once thought of.
Yeah, it's really quite amazing how, you know, Pink Floyd music seems, when you get into it and you go down the path, there aren't it it all points in a direction. There isn't some like complete left turn a la Abacab or something that makes you go, what? Huh?
Right.
Where'd this come from? It's pretty seamless and orderly. It's pretty cool. But
one idea for an episode. Now that you say Abacab, one idea for an episode is the most contentious albums in progressive rock. I would submit Abacab, and what we've experienced at least in our
Sure.
discussion. Abacab would be there. Apparently, Hold Your Fire, it belongs in the list.
Hold Your Fire is a good one. Which one of the Trevor albums would we put in there?
Well, I don't know which one is really controversial. Everyone pretty much.
Either loves them or hates them.
Yeah.
I
Ken, you
think
might
Big Generators
you might have to
probably-
unmute yourself, Ken. Ken, unmute yourself. Can you?
Hey, sorry.
There
you go.
I need 3 or 4 minutes just to look at something real quick.
Sure.
So I
All right.
need some bandwidth, so I'll be right back. Sorry.
Okay. All right, Kenny G. Well, we're just going to continue the pre-show. So many things to be excited about. Steven Wilson coming out with some new stuff. The Genesis tour, although frankly I'm not really that excited about that because it's in England and I'm not going anyway. Because I don't need to see Phil Collins sitting in a chair, as I've mentioned. And Big Train's coming to North New Jersey in May.
It's too bad it's not Big Bog Train. I was really excited about Big Bog Train.
Yeah, well, that I was so excited. My thumbs just over text.
It happens.
Yeah, I have to figure out what the deals with Kenny G on that one because it's a Sunday and Monday, and of course the Sunday seats there's not many left and they're not great. But I don't really feel like driving up there on a Monday night.
Yeah, that sounds kind of shitty.
Yeah.
So I'm going to Nashville tomorrow,
Ooh.
which means I get to go to my favorite place, McKay, which is the huge used book and music warehouse.
Nice.
So I anticipate spending maybe a couple of hours pouring
Okay.
through everything I can get my hands on. Really excited about that.
Do you have any pieces that you're specifically looking for?
Not specifically. I'm pretty set on Pink Floyd, although somehow I thought I had the wall on vinyl and I do not. So that is something that I want. I'll probably have to pay out the nose for it, but that's
Wow.
okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you have the original Fly From Here on vinyl?
I do not.
That might be a fun find.
Yeah, if you could find it.
Yeah.
But you never really know what you're going to find. So like one time I went there, I don't know if you remember when we did the episode on Duke, I was talking about this video I had that was on the album Duke. And I found that there. I mean, there's
Wow.
no reason for it to exist. I'm just looking at the videos going, Duke, what? Okay.
Yeah.
I've got, I got a couple of Peter Gabriel video DVDs and things like that. I mean, the beautiful thing about stores like that is you just never know what you're going to find. You just kind of go in and look for, anything in the Palaver catalog and, see what pops out at you. The other thing I am still looking for, I was never able to get the Keys Studio CD.
Oh, yeah.
I've got Keys to Ascension 1 and 2, but I don't have just the disc that has, all those
It's
studio
true.
tracks on one.
Yeah.
And what kills me is probably shortly before we started the Palaver, I was in Nashville, I was at McKay's, and I actually had it in my hand. And I said, I don't need this. I've already got both 1 and 2. And it's like, oh, damn it.
Yeah. Now you're a collector. Now you need to have it.
Now I'm a collector. Yeah, I need. Do you remember that CD cabinet that my stepfather made me?
Yes, I do.
That I finished in your parents' garage?
Yeah, I do remember that was mammoth.
Yeah, it's overflowed by several hundred at this point.
Oh my God.
So I need to do something else. Makes me kind of sad.
Yeah, yeah. It's impressive that you've managed to keep your CDs like that. Mine are just in a big crate sitting next to the crate full of vinyl.
Oh yeah, did you ever get yourself
I have
some
not
stereo
yet.
equipment?
Bonus is later this month.
Okay.
So
I recommend going for the stereo and one guitar rather than two guitars and no stereo.
Oh, well, I think my younger son has some ideas about his hockey career, so I may be putting aside some guitar money for that stuff. But I
The
did
things we do as parents.
I know I did do well on Overstock.com. I
Did
had
you?
pretty much have I actually went for I have like I think 700 maybe somewhere between $700 and $800 in my shopping cart ready to go.
Nice.
And I will say like $74 of that is a giant beanbag chair that I'm buying so that I can sit in a beanbag chair and enjoy listening, um, just like the old days.
Yep.
But I actually was thinking instead of getting bookshelf speakers, I was actually getting like column speakers,
Okay.
simply because I would have to buy stands
Sure.
for the
Makes
but
sense.
I figured I would just get, plus I'm looking at bookshelf speakers and I'm thinking, the studio monitors that I have down in the basement are probably the best speakers in the house no matter what I get. So, well, if I was smart, I would just hook everything up down here and just listen down here, but it's not usually the environment I want to be in when I listen to
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
So,
different. The only point I was trying to make is you didn't need, the biggest fucking speakers you could get
yeah,
like we were back in the day,
yes.
where, we needed, something that was 5 feet tall and 3 feet wide, and it's
Yeah.
just, it's not entirely necessary. And again, given from where you're starting, dude,
Yeah, right. And I'm thinking I didn't buy any kind of stand or anything like that, but I'm thinking Luke may be able to hook me up with some milk crates from Wawa or something like that, and I can go old school again too and just build
there you
a
go.
build a milk crate stand like I did when I was in college and when I was first out of college. It'd just be like reliving my youth.
There you go. It's almost like we've gone nowhere. But I do, the turntable I have, it's not anything exciting by any stretch of the imagination. It's a relatively budget model Audio Technica, but it works just fine for what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I think this one is similar, and it's got both Bluetooth and cabled options.
I
So
don't think mine has the Bluetooth. That's very, very fancy.
yeah, it seems fancy, but it also seems counterintuitive to vinyl.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
you're
Yeah, the
trying to
whole
get that.
idea is to have the analog signal.
Yeah, yeah. So let's
I
convert
mean,
it into a Bluetooth signal and send it across the room. Sounds awesome.
but I mean, any receiver you're going to get is going to be digitized anyway. Now, the,
True.
the difference is, and Gilmore, I can't get away from fucking the lost art of conversation. There's so much there. I could do a podcast on that. But Gilmore mentions the, advances in um, digital audio conversion
Right, right.
back, from, 20, 30 years ago, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like I said, the one thing, and I want to do a palaver on this. I floated this on the text once. Hey, Kenny G,
Kenny G's back.
the question of, did the compact disc almost kill progressive music? And the reason I say that
Hmm.
is, and it's a question, but the reason I say it is up until recently, I had never, ever listened to Big Generator on vinyl. I didn't own it. I had a CD. That was all I'd
Right.
ever heard. And I understood all of the issues that people have with Big Generator. And while vinyl doesn't solve all of those, I will tell you that Big Generator, in my experience, sounds demonstrably better
Wow.
on vinyl, to the point where it's almost like, oh, that's what they were trying to do.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it was, vinyl was still, quote unquote king at that point. So presumably everything was mastered with an eye towards vinyl. And then when they would convert onto the digital, and we all know, there were some problems with mastering, even when they took the
Yeah.
older albums and put them on CD the first time, and it sounded like shit for whatever reason. So
Yeah.
I wonder if that growing period didn't impact some of these more important groups, in terms of that. Now, someone like Genesis, obviously, for whatever reason, were able to stay ahead of that. But I don't know. Maybe it's interesting, maybe it's not.
It's an interesting topic. It would be good to sort of compare that up against, was it that, or was it, just the industry's need to, completely marketize everything and commoditize all the music that we love to the nth degree.
Yeah. And there's also the industry impact, because we've talked before, all of the big bands and the albums that came out in that period. Yes, Genesis, Rush, even Pink Floyd to a certain degree. They and the Police, even, they all kind of went into this, for lack of a better phrase, neutral territory that
Mhm.
wasn't. It was all, I don't know what it was,
Yeah.
but
It was the Asia effect, really.
it was the Asia effect. Like,
Mhm.
I was driving in the car today, and I had my phone plugged in, and it was just randomly going through shit, and it happened upon one of the later John Wetton tracks that I just love to death.
Mm.
It's called Algato Nero. I was just in such a happy mood when that song came on.
I wonder if we could do an analysis of average stadium size. I mean, perhaps not considering large European soccer stadiums with obscene space for human beings. But in addition to the CD, you just had the need for arena
Yeah.
music.
That's true. Yeah. And what impact did that have? I like it.
Ken, you got the wicked cool video effect going on right now again, where everything behind you is blurry. I love
And
it.
he didn't have it before.
Yeah, you didn't have it before. It's like
Yeah, it almost looks like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's got a really picturesque look to it. Like,
All right.
oh my gosh.
Shall we do Meddle? We ready?
I think we should.
Let's do Meddle.
On this episode.